backwards.
And continue to send multi-billion-dollar spaceships up in the sky. For,
also the market,
which is well, if you can, it was okay if you can afford it. If you want to explore and see what the universe is about, that's wonderful. It's educational, but not at the cost of
people that can't eat.
Can't take care
of their health.
Or your own first. Yeah.
See, also the marketing technique has gone so outrageous. In a market nowadays they'll say buy one and two gets free. So the slogan should be buy it if you really need it, not buy one and two gets free.
That's not good business.
Yeah, right. Yeah. so this is how it's going on.
So why do people live beyond their means and accumulate so much excessive debt?
Krishna says in this Bhagavad-gita, it says, Kama rupena konteya dushparena analena cha, which means that lust to acquire things burns like fire, is never satisfied. You get one, you got to get a bigger one, a better one, a faster one, a more expensive one, a prettier one. We're not satisfied with what we have. Satisfaction is what we're looking for, but we're looking for it in the wrong place. We're thinking that satisfaction comes from accumulating things. Satisfaction comes from the inside out, not from the outside in. If we understand that, we can become happy, satisfied, and peaceful in our life. Not just trying to acquire more and more things and increase more and more personal debt. And again, as on a national level, increase our national debt. Trying to assert our influence all over the world where we really don't belong.
And on a more specific level, what creates that personal satisfaction?
Relationship with God. Definitely. There's no other solution. Because we are inherently spiritual. Therefore, our satisfaction is also inherently spiritual. We become satisfied only in relationship with God, or we would say with Krishna. So when one is satisfied in the relationship with Krishna or God, he becomes happy, satisfied with whatever comes easily by the grace of God. He's not always hankering more and more and more and more, bigger, better, faster, more expensive, all these things.
See, also if you study the Bhagavad-gita, even Lord Krishna has also encouraged economy based on agriculture. In those days, people used to own so many different cows, so much milk and everything, so much grains and everything. And he specifically mentioned the economy should be based on the agriculture base, not on this gambling basis. So that is what this Bhagavad-gita is also kind of encouraging us, for the economical purpose.
Promoting agrarian society.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the United States in debt?
Well, as we touched on previously, we're spending money on, that's my perception. I'm not a historian, I'm not an economist, I read Time magazine, I'm on the internet. But from what I can understand, it seems that we're more than willing to spend billions and trillions of dollars. Like how many trillions of dollars did we spend in Iraq for so-called weapons of mass destruction that were never found?
Yeah.
We're there about our oil. We're there for our interests.
Yeah.
Because our country wants to drive huge mega vehicles that get 6, 8, 10 miles to a gallon. So you can look down on these tiny little Japanese cars. Hey, get out of my way. Isn't it? Because we want this prestige and power and influence. But we should be happy with our little Japanese car that gets 30, 40 miles to a gallon. Or they're developing cars that get 50, maybe 60 miles to a gallon, and get from one place to another. But because of pride and what we call in Sanskrit, or a hankar, false ego, where we want to be better than everybody else, we're consuming more than our share of the world's natural resources. America is creating the largest carbon footprint in the world now, because we're burning all this petroleum, and someday there's going to come an end to it. And what's the use of your big, huge explorer expedition? It'll be a big paperweight if you can't put gas in it, or if you can't afford to put gas in it.
Yeah, and preferably, given that the quality of the cars made here in the United States have come up, that we purchase them here. We make them here and we purchase them here.
Yeah.
Instead of, having to import them and so forth. Again, just hurts our economy.
Yeah, I think the petroleum industry has a lot of lobbying power about what kind of technology is available to the public. Well, I think they could produce a car that can get 60, 80 miles to a gallon, but will people buy it? Or does the petroleum industry want people to buy it? They're much happier when people are using a vehicle that gets 10 miles to a gallon as opposed to a vehicle that gets 80 miles to a gallon.
Sure, they want to make money.
They want to make
That's
money.
what they're there for, yeah.
And it brings us back again to greed. and not being satisfied with our relationship with God.
It requires some serious regulation.
Yeah. It's not likely though.
See, besides that, enviousness is also detrimental to our spiritual life, because we become envious as I am the better than yours, I am the controller. Well, ultimately, God has a control on all of us, And Krishna says in Bhagavad-gita, Maya dakshana prakriti sayate sacharacharam hetuna, and everything is under my control, with the cause and effect, everything goes. So we need to learn how to be depend on our spiritual welfare and dependence on God, and He always is merciful. He will just bestow mercy upon all of us.
Yeah.
I had an amazing experience. My wife is from India, as you know. We spent about 2 weeks staying with her sister in a little town called Daraganj in Orissa, India. And by Western standards, say, oh, it's just a backward way to live. They have a well where they pump water out of the ground. They have electricity, but no central air conditioning, no central heat. Of course, they don't need heat in India much.
Yeah.
In the wintertime, it gets a little cold.
A little bit chilly.
But I look at this man, I think, here is a man that's truly wealthy because he's satisfied in life.
Yeah.
He has one room just stacked with rice. He has cows. He milks his cows. He grows his own vegetables. He milks his own cows. He grows his own rice. He's a postmaster. The whole town knows and loves him. He's never known any other woman. His wife has never known any other man. He has 2 obedient sons. The man's in heaven.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any credit card debt. He doesn't have a mortgage. He owns his vehicle. He owns his house. And he's peaceful.
Yeah.
But in America, we have these huge debts hanging over us. Credit card debt, mortgages, insurance, car payments, all these bills, utility bills, one after another. There's no peacefulness. Because we're grabbing after money, pieces of paper. We go to the store and spend our paper to get the things we need.
Yeah.
Why not produce the things you need?
Yeah.
Or you produce something, your neighbor produces something, and you barter. This simple life. And it may not be possible now because we've made these huge mega cities, on prime farmland in many cases actually. Because everyone's come to the city to buy things and make money and stock it in the bank, and I'm wealthy because I have these pieces of paper. Wealth is land, wealth is food, wealth is cows, wealth is food grains. This is wealth, not pieces of paper.
So is there a solution? What could be done to change the path we're on as a nation?
People should understand what God consciousness means and not just give lip service. I go to the church, the synagogue, the temple, the mosque, the gurudwara, and I went there and I said my prayers and asked God for some things, and He gave me, and that's the end of it. But we should appreciate whatever we have in life is given to us by God. And we should appreciate and be satisfied what He gives, whatever comes easily, without hankering and lusting after more and more and more. Or it's like Mahatma Gandhi said one time, that God will always provide for our need, because ultimately we're all beloved sons and daughters of God. He'll always supply for our need, but not for our greed. And this is a problem.
See, also our spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, also in a small scale attempted to establish so many farm communities, and it's working. Many countries nowadays, Europe, even some of them over here also, they are trying their best to bring that back to this farm communities and live self-sufficiency.
Create farm communities that are self-sustainable.
So in a small scale, the attempt has been made.
Yeah, and it's working.
Yes, it's working.
Gradually, they're building and building upon it.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice.
Because there's no farmers, there's no food.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, and much better, like you said, to grow it yourself. It's organic. It's healthier. It's better for you. It's better for the land.
See, I have lived in America for last 40 years, but I hear from many older generation, and they tell me that originally it was like that in America also. Just like in the South, they always used to grow a cotton, but now also South also growing the more tobaccos, to provide to prepare the cigarettes or something like making. So these guys, so we are kind of misguiding in our economical solutions,
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you both for being here. It's been a very interesting discussion and program today. I want to mention to everyone that if you would like to have a free copy of this Bhagavad-gita, this is 5,000-year-old text that has been transliterated from Sanskrit into Roman diacritics. If you'd like a free copy of this, you can contact Thakor Topiwala. He'd be more than happy to send you a copy for free. You can contact Thakor Topiwala at 704-719-3982. That's 704-719-3982. Just give him a call. He'd be more than glad to answer any questions that you have on spiritual topics about the Bhagavad-gita, as well as send you a free copy.
See, there is another thing, one thing I want to add in reading the Bhagavad-gita. It is nothing about the specific religious. Krishna has talked about the science of the soul, economy, social structure, and all those things are mentioned 5,000 years ago. Some people may think, it is a Hindu's Bhagavad-gita. It is not only Hindu's Bhagavad-gita. It is meant for all the people all the time.
It's for everyone.
For everyone.
Yes.
Good point.
So I'm understanding you want to do a little chanting.
Yeah, that is our based on our practicing.
Can you describe a little bit about what the chanting is before we start?
The Hare Krishna mantra, we say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Is a call to the Lord and the energy of the Lord to be engaged in His service. And we find that by chanting this divine mantra, man means mind, tra means to deliver, delivers our mind from the misconceptions of life and enables us to put our priorities straight. That our priority in life is to have a relationship with God. And He will automatically supply all the necessities of life. Because He's like a loving Father. He is supplying us what we need according to our need, but not to our greed. So the trick is to become happy, satisfied in that relationship and not be always hankering more and more and more. So we find by chanting this simple divine song, it satisfies our heart and awakens our relationship with God.
It's a purification.
Yeah, it's a purification.
See, nowadays a lot of people are following the yoga process, many different kind of yoga process. This is also part of a bhakti yoga process, which is not known to many people. Most of the people are familiar with the heart yoga process, but this is provide the bhakti yoga process.
So let's begin. If we have enough time to do some chanting.
Okay.
You brought a mridanga drum, is that correct?
Yeah, this is sort of east meets west. Mridanga means made of clay, but this is fiberglass.
I see.
So it's east meets west.
This is called a kartal.
Kartals, they're like symbols? Okay. Yeah, sure, go ahead and please begin.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,